Wir sind in der Mitsubishi Electric Hall in Düsseldorf und es ist uns eine große Ehre, dass Noel Gallagher heute hier ist. So, for you playing live, you do this for more than 30 years now, but is it still special for you to come here and right now before a gig? How do you feel?
No, yeah, I feel all right. We're just going to do a sound check in a minute. But yeah, I guess you wouldn't still be doing it after 30 years if you didn't like it or love it. Do you know what I mean? And as an artist, it's like your thing works in stages where you write the songs at home on your own, and then you go to the studio and you play them with the band, and then the last thing is to play it to an audience, and then you tend to find out more about the songs when you play them live than you just do when you're listening at home. So it's a special thing.
And you have your own studio now, Lone Star, where you recorded the new songs. So can you describe the atmosphere when you enter this room, this studio? Is it kind of a magic place?
The atmosphere. Well, it's very colourful and very vibrant, but the atmosphere is quite calm. There's usually only me there and at most a couple of other guys, so it's quite calm. But it's a nice place to be. So when I was when I was building it, it was initially finished and it looked like a normal recording studio. And I didn't like it because it just looks a bit cold and a bit stale. So I had to kind of redesign the inside of it, because if studios are not a nice place to be, then you're not going to be there a lot. So mine is a really nice place just to hang out, and I do hang out there even when I'm not working, just kind of, just fucking around and so it's a nice place to be. It's beautiful though. It's nice to look at.
I just saw it on YouTube at the pedal show where you hosted that. And so I at least have a little glimpse into it, that you have like a cherry tree in there. And of course, Pep Guardiola is there as well.
Of course, he's overseeing the tactical plan. Yeah, there's a lot of flowers and artwork and memorabilia and stuff like that, yeah.
And you said that you were working from 11 till 5 o'clock for 6 hours at least.
Well, I get there... I would usually get there about 11:30. I'll start at midday and finish at 6. So I don't really attempt more than 2 things a day. So I mean, I've even done this way, even when I've been renting other people's studios. I don't really go in and tend to go crazy and work. It's like, I think if you can, for me personally, the way it works best is we do 6 hours and we do 2.5 hours, then break for lunch, then another 2.5 hours, and then I only pick 2 things to do a day. So maybe the bass on this track and something else on another, and then that's it. I don't like to work too hard.
But when you write and when you record the songs, do you think already about when you play them live? Do you visualize how they will really deliver also in front of thousands of people?
Well, sometimes, but more in the respect of I would instinctively know when a song is not going to work live. I will know that. Whether it's difficult to... Sometimes songs are more difficult to sing. And of course, if you do 100 takes in the studio, you think that's going to be tricky live. So I would be more aware of what wasn't going to work live than what is. But I really treat the recording and the playing live as 2 separate things. You're never going to recreate everything that you can do in the studio. So there's no point in holding back in the studio. I go for it in the studio, be as much fucking production as possible. And then when you play live, when we get together as a band, I always say to them, don't try and copy what's on the record. Let's just let it'll fall into place, So the live experience, although the songs are the same, it's a little bit different.
And when I'm correct, you wrote more than 30 songs in your new studio and during the pandemic. So actually, you're done for the next years, song-wise, right?
Yeah, I've had to stop writing because, I need to get these songs recorded and getting it out there so I can write some more new ones. But yeah, well, when the pandemic, I guess there was nothing to do all day, so I just wrote songs and ended up writing about... Yeah, there's another 2 albums worth of material there. So, Yeah. I mean, I think I'm gonna be back in the studio in January, recording. So we'll see where it goes from there.
And how do you decide what is a good or a brilliant song and just an average song you have written?
Well, it changes. Sometimes, I guess you'll imagine after doing it for 30 years, you get a lot of things right and some things wrong. But for this particular album, I instinctively knew that they were all great. But I mean, I've done previous albums where I thought, songs were great, and then it turns out they weren't great. But I think with Council Skies, I think this one, song for song, is probably the best thing I've ever done. So it's just an instinctive thing. I don't really canvass opinion from people. I don't really say, oh, what do you think of this or what do you think of that? Before I play a song to anyone, I'm quite sure of what I think of it.
But I know that Paul Weller and also Johnny Marr are one of the or two of the persons you show them first, the songs you wrote. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, well, with Paul, he's a neighbour of mine. He lives across the street. And he would always send me his stuff first. So, yeah, I would do that with Weller more than Johnny, but only because Paul lives across the street. But we kind of. It's not to say what do you think. It's just like because I always want to hear what other people are doing, And the same with you too. And they send me stuff and I send them stuff, and it's you can gauge whether people are going to like it or not, I suppose. But I don't ask for an opinion. It's just a courtesy thing, saying this is.
And last week, a new song of the Beatles came out, Now and Then. What was your first reaction when you heard it and when you heard that they will release a new song?
What did I think? Well, I was as shocked as everybody else. I'd already heard the original demo, and they've taken there's a big section of it where it's disappeared. They've taken a big section out. I mean, it's sort of, to live in a day and age where the Beatles are still releasing new material is a great thing. The world is such a shit place now. It's like, if the Beatles are still doing stuff, then we should all feel very privileged. But no, it's great. They're great. Well, I mean, I'm completely biased towards them. So even if it was shit, I wouldn't tell you. Not the same thing.
But I don't know. Did it make you happy? I mean, was this a special day for you?
Well, what makes me happy is always great to hear John's voice. And when artists die, you never tend to hear enough of them. It's like when when David Bowie died and Prince, for the following weeks, that's all you would hear on the radio. But for the previous 10 years, you would never hear David Bowie on the radio. So the fact that you can be passing a shop and there's John Lennon singing is an amazing thing. Yeah.
And what do you think about this AI stuff that they now were just able to separate John's voice because of that?
Well, if you can use it as a tool to do things like that, but I don't. You see these things on YouTube now of, John Lennon singing fucking Supersonic. That's just it's trash nonsense. You know what I mean? But the AI, for what they did in the Get Back thing where they could separate all that, it's amazing. It's amazing. It makes it, as a fan, it's amazing to hear it, as it would have been heard. But the other stuff, like where they mimic people's voices, that's just fucking rubbish. Yeah.
So coming back to playing live tonight here in Düsseldorf, is the set list already fixed, or do you sometimes change them also spontaneously on stage?
No, we won't do it on stage. Sometimes, as the tour progresses, you might get bored of one or two songs. But I've got to say, we've been on tour since June the 1st, and the set is pretty good, I think. So we won't be. Yeah, the set is. It means we can concentrate on just having a good time. But we've had no complaints so far.
So there will be 5 songs of the new album, 4 to 5?
Yeah, for the first 5. Okay. And then there's a big chunk in the middle of all I Flying Bird stuff, and then there's Oasis stuff at the end and a Bob Dylan cover. So it's all Yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it actually. Yeah, there's not usually you get on tours and there'll be a song coming up where you go, you have to play it because it's a single or whatever. But I look at the set list now and just think these are all pretty great. Yeah.
Next year there will be a 30th anniversary of one of the most famous albums in the world. Will you celebrate it somehow?
Somehow, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what. I think Liam's doing you're gonna play it in its entirety. I haven't got any plans to do anything like that, but I guess I'll have a chat with Alan McGee the day it comes out and go, wow, fucking hell, wasn't that great? So I haven't got any firm plans to do anything musical around it. We'll let Liam look after that, but other than that, I don't know. I'll just see what I feel like on the day. It's an amazing thing for it to be 30 years old is just crazy. If I think back to the rehearsal room that we worked it all out in, and if somebody would have said like 30 years from now it'll be, it would have been, couldn't even comprehend it.
Changed everything, right? Especially your life.
Well, yeah. Obviously the album itself has been re-released, and there's some outtakes that I've been working on back in my studio in London, and it brought back some fond memories actually. And it was the original lineup and all that kind of thing, and it reminded me of, there was the 5 bands. There's only about 8 of us. I've got a big organisation now. It's like 50 people. I think there was just 8 people, and that was it, who knew about us, and it brought back memories of that time where you were young and ambitious, and you're into it, and now it's like I'm an old guy, kind of still doing it. So it's fun listening to it.
But it really seems that you're a happy guy, although we all got older, but that you're really enjoying your life and what you're doing right now.
Well, if you fucking can't enjoy being a rock star, then you've got a problem.
Great, and we're very happy that you're going to play here tonight in Düsseldorf. It's going to be special. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Kat.
Thank you.
Thank you.